Hello, everyone. Welcome to the #1 Divine Intervention virtual event, the D.I.V.E Social Summit for short. If you are new to D.I.V.E Live Online, my name is Iona Meade. I am your big vision and mission purposepreneur and founder of the Soul Speakers Academy, and I'm your host for this interview series. So where I've brought together 49 guest experts from all over the world, who I like to call soul speakers. And we're sharing with you soul-inspired, intuitive business, lifestyle, and marketing strategies for purpose-driven business owners. So throughout the 49 days of the Social Summit, I'll be bringing each of my guests into the Soul Speakers Spotlight to share with you not only their free gift for today, but also their soul-inspired strategy. So hopefully this interview is coming and the Social Summit is coming to you in divine timing, with divine energy and in divine flow. We know that the universe brings us what we need. Sometimes it's not always fun to do it alone. So that's why you'll be able to connect with me, my guests, and other like-minded attendees in the Soul Speakers Tribe Facebook group. And if you haven't got the bonus training for the summit, then do get it. It's called Speak Your Soul's Message 101. And so I would love to introduce my very special guest. We have about 20 minutes, and I think it's going to be jam-packed. So please do welcome Juliet Dillon Clark. Hi, Juliet. How are you?
I'm great. Thank you for having me.
Oh, thank you for being with us here in the D.I.V.E Social Summit. So let me give you a warm introduction. So Juliet is the CEO of Winsome Media Group, and get this, 8 times author. Here to talk about finding your niche audience for non-fiction writers. 8 times, but that's got to take some work, right? But this is our area of expertise, so don't be intimidated. So Juliet, before it's like, wow. Before we talk about your free gift for our audience today, which I really appreciate you bringing to D.I.V.E, and your soul-inspired strategy, do share with our audience a little bit more about you, how you've come to do what you're doing today.
Well, I started the publishing journey back in 2008 when I published my first book, and I used a well-known self-publishing company and realized very quickly that they did not provide customer service. They didn't really tell me the tools that I needed to be successful. They just tried to upsell me a lot. And then when it came down to actually having the book published, the back end was marked up so much that they made most of the money on the book. And I felt like, you know, I took a chance and I invested in myself, because self-publishing is you pay the publisher to put it together. It's not like a traditional publishing company where they choose your work and they take care of it. So I just felt like for authors, that was just not, it was not the way to go. If you invest in yourself, you should reap the benefits of that. So that's where I started my company, and it started out just kind of a hobby run amok that I was doing for my friends and referrals, and it just ended up taking off, and now it's my passion and my career.
Oh, I love it. Thank you so much. And for most people say that they've got a book inside of them, they feel that, right? So this is really timely for the event. And for someone who is feeling like, okay, for self-publishing or getting their words and their message into print. And I like that you say that, well, actually that didn't feel like a great fit, and there's so many pieces that you need to know about, so you actually do have ownership of what it is that you're putting out there, and your message. So for our audience, say they are like even halfway through a book, or they've got an idea for a book, or they've had the experience that you had, what would you suggest that they actually do to actually go from idea and passion to actually getting into print? And that's before we share your freebie. What would you say to somebody that's thinking about going down this path?
I think the biggest disappointment for authors out there is that they have so much passion and they have so much vision, but then when they publish their book, they don't have an audience. And that is what I coach, is audience building, because the most truly successful books out there these days are done by internet marketers who already have an audience, and they have a built-in source to tap and ask questions to about, what is it you want. So that kind of book experience gives readers what they want instead of what you think they want.
Oh my goodness, how powerful is that? Because when you say, oh, I've got a book inside of me, and it's like, okay, so who am I speaking to when I'm writing, when I'm thinking about the outcome of the book or the experience and the flow of the book? It's like, okay, I can write to the cows come home. But like you say, if you haven't got an audience or readership and you're not writing with them in mind, so let us know, guys, if you have started to write a book, or if you feel like you've got a book inside of you, you've got a book title and you just don't know where to go with it, let us know. And I love that you say that, you know, actually it starts with building that audience, or combining that. It comes with that audience and knowing who your niche is, right? So let's share with our audience your free gift that you bring to the summit, and I really do appreciate that. So it's called Finding Your Audience for Non-Fiction Authors. So when our guys sign up for that, what will they get? What is the meat and bones of what they'll get? And you can share, just, you know, take it from there. That'd be great.
Well, what Finding Your Audience for Nonfiction Authors is about is helping you develop strategies and plans. I go through the top 6 mistakes that authors make, and one of them is indeed not building your audience first and finding out what your readers want from you. And then it goes into a 12-step marketing plan, which that's probably the second biggest mistakes authors make, is not having a plan. So many of them write the book, they haven't built an audience, and they haven't planned for the expense of publishing or the expense of marketing. So the 12-step plan helps you get into place exactly what you need, what your message is, who you're speaking to, you know, where is your community, because audience building is all about community and relationships. And you know, you planning, how am I going to publish this? You know, am I going to just do an ebook? Am I going to do Kindle? Am I going to produce a soft cover? You know, what sort of marketing place do I have in place? And a budget, because the budget is really important. You don't want to get to the end of writing your book and find out, oh, you know, it costs X amount of dollars to publish it. I don't have that. And suddenly you're looking for inexpensive solutions. And this is truly a business where you get what you pay for. So if you go cheap, you're probably not going to get customer service and coaching and help that would help you be more successful without paying extra. So this is the planning area where you actually bring it all together into, you know, what you need and how you're going to do it.
I love that, Juliet. Thank you so much, because there's ideas popping up in my mind, and I'm thinking, you know, okay, I want to write a book, and those things that you touch on, and let us know, guys, if you resonate with that. It's like, have you even thought of those things? Because not only as purpose-driven business owners, it's like marketing. It's like, oh, I haven't signed up for that. I just want to, you know, get my message out there and reach my ideal clients. But when you're thinking about writing that book, it's a similar thing. It's like, who is it that you're speaking to? Where can you reach them? How can you draw them into you and create that audience, and think about the marketing that's effective, right? And obviously you share that. And those mistakes of not thinking about, how am I actually going to get this into the hands of more readers? Because what you don't want to be in a situation is, okay, I've put a Kindle book out there and I've got no reviews, no readership, and it's just there. Because people say, don't they, that you're laughing, that you know, write a book and that's kind of your author status. And if nobody's reading it, it's like you've just got like a PDF, just some written words, right?
No, that's exactly it. And you know what? Building that audience is so much about community. And if you can find that niche first, and there's some trial and error, you know, you're using social media is a wonderful way to do that. But if you can bring that all together and find that niche community first, your book is going to be much more successful than writing it and then bringing it together, you know, trying to bring it all together later with reviews. One of the great things about author platform building as well is that when you're in the process of doing it, You're also building for your other platforms. If you want to become an international speaker, then you're building that platform right now, and those speaking engagements start showing up when you start building these relationships and getting into these different communities. And if you're a coach, being out in these communities really is helpful. Starting your own community is helpful as well. So one of the things that this also takes care of, if you start building your niche in advance, is what happens to a lot of authors is called author overwhelm. And it's a real thing. It's a struggle. Yeah. People get so overwhelmed with everything they have to do that they just stop. And all of a sudden they've written a really great book, nobody's reading it, but they're just so overwhelmed that they don't know what to do. So by starting with all of this planning at the very beginning, then your website can be put up while you're building your audience, and your email list can be building while you're putting together your audience and adding people to it. So all the steps that you need to take to become a successful author, if you start at the beginning and build them as you're going along, when you're ready to launch, it's going to be awesome. But if you haven't done it, you really can't expect, to have a great audience.
Yeah, and to have that level of success, it's not just writing the book, right? You want to actually touch people's lives with your message, and your book is not just about you. It is about that audience, and it is about serving them in a different way. Serve them in your business, serving them with a book. I mean, how many books, if I look around, I have on my shelf, and in my office, in the bathroom, in my living room. So, people have taken that time to write that book for a really great purpose, and you resonate with that. So if you've read some great books, which I'm sure you have, it's about doing that, getting it into print, right? So do you have some real meat for us? Do you want to cover a couple of points that we talked about in the green room? Do you have any slides or any poignant pieces of information?
Actually, I didn't. I prepared some slides, but I'm not gonna put them up. I just wanted to talk a little bit about a niche audience and what it is, because people don't really understand when you talk about a niche what it is. And if you think about the definition of a niche, it's the status of an organism within its community. So in order to have a niche idea or a niche book or wherever you're using this niche, you really need to become part of the community that this niche is in. And that's probably the biggest thing, is going out and finding that community. Now, here's a big benefit to having that too, is authors, well, probably most people don't like to sell. And selling is, people not only don't like to sell, but they don't like to be sold to. So if I'm trying to sell you something and I'm very overt about it, chances are you're not going to purchase. But when you're building a niche audience, you're building relationships with people who do want your product because you ask them, they've had input. And so it takes the selling element out of your book or whatever product you're selling by building an organic audience and working with a niche market. A niche market is basically not selling, it's networking and building those relationships. So the point is to get out and rub elbows with people who like what you sell and discover your products organically, instead of you kind of shoving them in their face, here, buy. Yeah. So that's why it's so important to get into that group and ask questions and find out what they really, really want.
Oh, thank you so much, Juliet. So in your free gift, and again, guys, you have full permission to multitask and go and grab that if you have that book inside you. Do you talk about how to engage with your audience and how to interact with that? For somebody that's kind of thinking, okay, well, I don't know where to reach those people. I know that I have a book, and I know that it could be beneficial. Do you talk about that in your free gift? I talk about it a little bit in the program. Basically, the place to go to do those things, and there's more about this on my website. My website's down at the bottom. Is go on to social media. And it used to be, when the social media experts first went out in the world telling us how to use this as business people, that they said, just like and share, and that's engagement.
but it really isn't. That's not the way to build a relationship. Go into Google+, LinkedIn, Facebook. All three of them have groups. And whatever you're really passionate about, just do a search and you can join. Some of the groups are closed, some of the groups are open, and just start posting and getting to know yourself or know the people in it. One of the big mistakes authors make is they jump into these groups and they're like, here's my book, here's my book, here's my book. And that's kind of begging. Please, please read my book. And you don't want to do that. You want to be able to provide some information. You want to help other people in the group when they ask questions. And that's where engagement really starts, is not approaching it from I need to sell my book and make people aware of me, but how can I help people?
Yeah, the purpose that you actually wrote the book in the first place, and that's where it comes back to, that finding your audience. So within those groups that are relevant, and you don't feel like, you know, hey, you're gate crashing, you're actually, you know, being in service first, is what I like to say. So Juliet, before we kind of wrap up, let's share your soul inspired strategy for today. So the idea behind the soul inspired strategy, if you are new to D.I.V.E Live Online, is our soul speakers are bringing in tools, tips, strategies, steps for you. And the soul inspired strategy is to help you move and feel your way through your day and your life and your business. And if you are someone that has that message inside of you, and you've been thinking about, you know, how can I write my book? How can I get my message out there? It might just be one of these strategies, and Juliet's strategy, that helps you just pause for just a second and take a breather. So do share.
Well, I think my most soul strategy is do not force things. When you go out in the world and there's something you really want and there's obstacles coming up and you think, well, I'm just going to force through this, stand back a little bit and kind of analyze it. Because a lot of times when you're forcing an issue or you're forcing something to go in a direction that you're determined that it's going to go in, you're going to be swimming upstream. And if you just kind of let go and let go of the outcome, a lot of times you'll be surprised at what the universe brings you and what shows up that you're really meant to be, and it's really an easier way to get something done.
Oh, I love that. Oh, that's so beautiful. And you know, when we force things and we're in resistance, or we've got to get it done, and you know, it's like you become overwhelmed and overloaded, and that's not really a creative space. And I found that for myself, you know, you go full steam ahead, and sometimes when you go full steam ahead, you realize, actually, this is not what I really wanted. So taking that time, or we think that, okay, yeah, right, Juliet's laughing because we've all been there. You know, when you think, I want this, but then something else is showing up. When you're so focused on this, the beauty around you is unfolding, which I'm sure that you've had that experience. And sometimes it is letting go of one thing and something even better in a new way that will show up, that will support you in writing your book and getting your name into print. And if you've already done that, let us know. If you're about doing that, let us know. Continue on the conversation in the Facebook group. So Juliet, what I'm going to do is wrap up today's interview, and what I'll do is ask you if you have anything to add at the end, if that's okay. So yeah.
I thought you were asking me. I'm sorry.
Oh, I said I will. Hang on, let me pin me. So I'll wrap up the interview and I'll ask you if you have anything to add at the end. Is that okay?
That's fine.
Awesome. So guys, hopefully you have really resonated with today's interview. I know I have, and I've co-authored in a book with 44 amazing women, and it went to #1 on Amazon, and I still have another book inside of me. So I feel like it resonates with so many people, and you know, even people that are not purpose-driven business owners and coaches and healers. And if you have that, then definitely start to, you know, take those steps. And that free gift, again, I'll leave that link around this interview. So hopefully you've had massive action, massive insight, and you'll take inspired action. And I believe in transformation. And I know that all of my guests believe in transformation, Juliet included. And we know if you want to provide massive transformation in the world with your book, getting it out in front of the people that you feel called, that are your niche, then that transformation actually begins with you. And so we are inviting you into the summit, and we're not asking you to pay for the replays, or we won't lock off access to the freebies, because we don't want you to stay stuck behind closed doors with that book inside of you, or whatever that is, that message inside of you. So what we're going to do is invite you into some bonus training that I have for the summit. And if you love what Juliet's sharing, then she's also contributing an additional gift to what I call my Uber giveaway. So you'll be able to come in to the summit and see each guest's area of expertise. And if you need a lot or a little help in whatever area, then we are here to support you. My bonus training opens up enrollment into the Soul Speakers Academy, where you can get your message out there, doing what we're doing, featuring on Hangouts, virtual events, summits, radio, and have your book in your hand and let people know what it is that you do. So, Juliet, I'm going to wrap up. Is there anything that you'd like to add before we hop off?
Yeah, just to keep writing. And actually, I don't know if I can, I hope I can add this. We have a group over on Facebook, which is writing and publishing tricks. And if you're a writer, feel free to come on over, and it's a closed group, but I approve just about everybody. So come on over and join.
Ah, awesome. So when the guys go to that link, do you have access into the Facebook group through that?
Go to which link?
So when we offer your free gift for today, do they have access into the Facebook group?
Yes, absolutely. All they have to do is go over and join, and I'll go ahead and approve them.
Ah, awesome. So you heard it here first, then you're going to get additional support. So thank you so much, Juliet, for doing that. So follow the link that is around this interview, and let us know what it is. Continue on the conversation. If you're here on Juliet's Featured Day, then do ask in the Soul Speakers Tribe Facebook group. Do she's got questions, or you've got questions, and she'll get them answered. And if it's not Juliet's Featured Day, do take inspired action. Do sign up and go over to the group so you can get support with like-minded authors or would-be authors, about to be authors, people that are already published. So you're really around that community that is going to serve you best. So I look forward to bringing you another guest expert, a soul speaker, as we move throughout the D.I.V.E Social Summit, and we share with you more soul-inspired, intuitive business, lifestyle, and marketing strategies. So this is Iona Meade signing off, saying I'll see you over at www.D.I.V.E Live Online. Take care, guys.